Is your boss toxic? Are you a toxic boss? In this video, we're going to talk about 3 things to avoid if you want to stop your team looking at you like you're a nightmare. And after each one, for a bit of fun, I'll give you a scoring scale and we'll see where you are when we're done. And I also want to talk a bit about the word toxic at the end of the video, and I might get just a little bit emotional. Toxic boss scorecard factor number 1, lacking accountability. Did you see British Prime Minister Liz Truss last week? Threw her Chancellor under the bus when her plan went sideways. The boss that's never wrong, always blames someone else. Don't be that person. You want an environment in which your team feel empowered to take decisions. And that only happens if they know you'll back them up even when things go wrong. So let's fill in your scorecard. Score 0 if you always take a little more than your share of the blame. Score 1 if you've ever thrown a colleague under the bus. And score 10 if you're a current or recent British Prime Minister. Okay, toxic boss scorecard factor number 2, crushing creativity. I once joined a new organisation and was told how great it was to have new blood and fresh thinking. But everything I suggested was met with, we'd love to try that, but we just haven't got time at the moment. Or even just flat out, no. So I stopped making suggestions and I left. If you want creative, energetic people in your team, you have to give them room to be creative and energetic. So it's scorecard time. Score 0 if you can point to 2 or 3 ideas from your team that you've actually implemented this year. Score 1 if you've ever said, I love that idea, but please do this boring thing instead. And score 10 if you're Donald Trump. Okay, so 2 down, 1 to go, and it's nearly time to talk about my problem with the word toxic. But before we do that, number 3, forgetting humanity. That is, forgetting that your people are people with lives and stuff and complications. I once had to deal with a situation in which someone asked to leave a couple of hours early every Wednesday and make it up by staying late on Monday and Tuesday so they could take their mum to chemotherapy. And their boss said no. Ridiculous. So many jobs these days don't actually need you to be chained to your desk from 9 to 5. And so many people are juggling work and family and caring responsibilities. You have to do everything you can to support your people in their humanity. And if you do it, they'll go above and beyond for you. So, last bit of the scorecard. Score 0 if you've ever driven one of your team home, dropped groceries off at their house, or been to one of their kids' dance recitals. Score 1 if you've ever emailed a co-worker at 9 o'clock at night and expected an instant response. And score 10 if you run Tesla, think everyone should be in the office all the time, and want to go to Mars. You should now have your final tally. And if you scored 0, congratulations, you are not toxic. Definitely subscribe. I want you in the Jetway Jet Set. If you've scored 3, well, maybe you've got some work to do. So you should definitely subscribe and watch all my videos because you can be better than that. And if you've scored 30, yikes. But seriously, before I say something more about the word toxic, if you want to be a better leader, grab my expert pack from the link in the description. I want you to have it because I want to inject some hope and positivity into the leadership game. The word toxic is so common these days. Toxic bosses, toxic environment, and things like quiet quitting and the great resignation. It's all negative and negativity. When leadership is about uplifting, inspiring and empowering people, it's a definitively positive process. If we spend too much time thinking about toxicity, we end up feeling poisoned. So let's help each other and our teams do better and be more than all this hyped up toxicness. The word toxic is toxic. So let's be the antidote. Grab your expert pack, hit subscribe and watch this video next to find out how to have great, meaningful, positive conversations with your colleagues.